At 11:47 p.m., two U.S. Delta Force operators cut through the outer fence of a disguised agricultural facility 40 miles south of Tehran. The bunker beneath this facility holds something the Iranian government has never acknowledged: a second uranium enrichment site, smaller than Natanz, deeper than Fordow, protected by the country's most loyal military unit. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has 200 men stationed here. 40 of them are senior officers. Tonight, all 40 are meeting inside the bunker. Intelligence says the meeting starts at midnight. Delta Force has 13 minutes to get inside before the doors seal. The facility looks abandoned from the outside. A few storage buildings, overgrown fields, a single guard shack at the main gate. That's the deception. Beneath the largest warehouse is 60 feet of reinforced concrete leads to a command center, a control room, and the centrifuges themselves. The Iranian leadership chose this location specifically because nobody would believe anything important exists here. They were wrong. At 11:48, the 6-man assault team moves through the fence breach. Night vision reveals 3 additional guards patrolling the perimeter road. They're walking a predictable route. 200 meters out, turn, 200 meters back. Turn, they've done this hundreds of times. Nothing has ever happened here. Nothing will ever happen here. That's what they believe. That's what Delta uses against them. The team lead signals a halt. The patrol is 30 seconds from the breach point. If the guards turn early, they'll see the cut fence. If they turn late, the team will already be inside. Yet the seconds pass. 20, 15, 10. The guards reach the end of their route. They turn. Their backs face the breach. The team moves. At 11:49, the assault team reaches the warehouse wall. Thermal imaging shows 4 guards inside. 2 near the main floor entrance. 2 more near the elevator shaft. The elevator is the only way down. 60 feet of vertical travel in an enclosed metal box. A death trap if the enemy knows they're coming. But the enemy doesn't know. Not yet. The breach specialist places the charge on the warehouse door. Controlled. Precise. No larger than necessary. The lock disintegrates at 11:50. The door swings open. The first guard inside turns his head exactly 3 inches before the first round hits him. Suppressed rifle. The sound doesn't travel past 20 meters. The second guard reaches for his radio. He never touches it. His body hits the concrete floor at the same moment the third guard realizes what's happening. The third guard is near the elevator. He doesn't run. He doesn't fight. He freezes. That's a death sentence in close quarters combat. The Delta operator doesn't hesitate. 2 rounds. Center mass. The guard falls backward into the elevator door. His rifle clatters on the floor. The 4th guard hears the noise. He's behind a storage rack. He can't see the team, but he knows something is wrong. He calls out in Farsi. No answer. He calls again. Still no answer. He steps out from behind the rack. The last thing he sees is a suppressed muzzle flash. At 11:52, the warehouse is secure. 4 guards down. No alarms. No radio transmissions. The team stacks on the elevator door. The control panel requires a security card and a 6-digit code. Delta doesn't have either, but they have something better. A bypass device that tricks the system into thinking a maintenance override is active. The device interfaces with the panel. 15 seconds. The display flickers. The lock disengages. At 11:53, the elevator doors open. The team steps inside. The descent takes 47 seconds. 47 seconds of silence. 47 seconds of knowing that when those doors open again, there will be no cover. No concealment, just a hallway full of armed guards and a clock counting down to 0. The team lead checks his weapon. The breach specialist checks his charges. The support gunner checks his feed. Everyone is ready. At 11:54, the elevator passes the 20-foot mark. The walls change from concrete to reinforced steel. This bunker wasn't built quickly. It was designed, planned, funded. The Iranian government spent years and millions of dollars constructing a facility they would later deny exists. Every inch of this descent proves the lie. At 11:55, the elevator passes the 40-foot mark. The team can hear the ventilation systems now. Low hum, air circulation. Below them, 200 guards are going about their duties. Some are eating. Some are praying. Some are preparing for the midnight meeting. None of them know that death is descending toward them at 3 feet per second. At 11:56, the elevator slows. The team prepares to move. Weapons up. Safety off. Breaths controlled. The elevator stops at 11:57. The doors don't open. Someone upstairs has noticed the override. Someone has locked the elevator in place. As the team is trapped inside a metal box 60 feet underground with less than 3 minutes before the meeting starts. The breach specialist looks at the emergency release panel. He can force it open, but it will trigger every alarm in the bunker. The mission lead makes the call. Do it. There's no other choice. The meeting starts at midnight. If those doors seal with the leadership inside, the mission fails. 40 senior officers will scatter. The nuclear program director will be evacuated. The deputy commander will disappear. Everything Delta came for will vanish. At 11:58, the breach specialist connects the emergency release bypass. It's not designed for this. The panel fights back. Sparks fly. The internal lock mechanism grinds against itself. The specialist applies more pressure. The mechanism breaks. The elevator doors pry open 6 inches, then a foot, then fully. Alarms scream throughout the bunker at 11:59. Red lights flash in every corridor. The Revolutionary Guard knows someone is inside. They don't know who. They don't know how many, but they know the meeting is compromised, and they know they have less than 60 seconds to protect their senior leadership. The hallway ahead is 40 meters long. 8 guards at the far end. Heavy weapons, body armor, defensive positions behind concrete barriers. The Delta team has the element of surprise for exactly 3 more seconds. Then the shooting starts. The team lead looks at his men, nods, moves. At 12 a.m., the first guard fires. His round hits the elevator frame. Sparks shower the team. The Delta point man doesn't flinch. He returns fire while moving forward. 3 rounds. Osh center mass. The guard drops. His weapon fires once more into the ceiling as he falls. Another guard opens fire from behind a barrier. His rounds impact the floor in front of the advancing team. Concrete chips fly. One hits the point man's face shield. He doesn't blink. The team's support gunner suppresses the barrier position. 50 rounds per minute walking across the concrete. The guard ducks. That's all the time the assaulters need. The point man reaches the barrier. He leans over. 2 rounds. The guard slumps forward. His blood pools on the concrete floor. At 12:01, the team clears the first barrier. 2 guards down. The remaining 6 fall back toward the command center. They're not running. They're repositioning, and they're leading Delta straight into a kill zone. The hallway opens into a larger room. Stairs on both sides. Is overhead walkways. The guards above have clear lines of fire. The team below has nothing but open floor. Here's the difference between regular soldiers and Delta Force. Regular soldiers take cover. Delta Force takes the fight. The team splits. 3 go left, 3 go right. No hesitation, no second guessing. The guards above fire down. Rounds impact the floor inches from moving feet. One Delta operator takes a round to his plate carrier. The impact spins him. He doesn't stop. He raises his rifle and puts 3 rounds into the guard above. The guard falls from the walkway and hits the floor 2 meters away. His neck snaps on impact. At 12:02, the left team reaches the eastern staircase. 2 guards are descending toward them. The first guard sees the Delta operator and freezes. The second guard tries to raise his weapon. The Delta operator fires twice. The first guard falls backward up the stairs. The second guard tumbles down. His body lands at the operator's feet. The operator steps over him and continues up. The right team reaches the western staircase. No guards, but the stairs are booby-trapped. A tripwire at the 5th step. The team lead sees it. Barely. The wire is thin, almost invisible in the red alarm light. He signals a halt. The breach specialist moves forward. He traces the wire to its source. A fragmentation mine, Russian-made, designed to kill anyone within 20 meters. The specialist cuts the wire. The mine remains dormant. The team continues up. At 12:03, both teams reach the upper level simultaneously. The command center doors are directly ahead. Heavy doors, reinforced, electronic lock. Behind those doors, 40 senior IRGC officers are scrambling. Some are calling for reinforcements. Some are destroying documents. Some are looking for weapons. None of them are leaving. The bunker has only one entrance, the elevator, and the elevator is currently occupied by a Delta Force breacher who is placing a demolition charge on the command center doors. The breacher works quickly. The charge is shaped, directed. The explosion will go forward, not back. The team takes cover behind concrete pillars. The breacher arms the detonator. 10-second fuse. He runs to cover. The seconds pass. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At 12:04, the charge detonates. The doors blow inward. The concussion wave throws furniture across the room. Papers fly. Screens shatter. The officers inside are dazed, disoriented, and completely exposed. Yet the Delta team enters the room in under 3 seconds. 14 rifles sweep across 40 targets. One officer reaches for a sidearm. He doesn't complete the motion. 2 rounds hit his chest before his fingers touch the grip. Another officer tries to activate a panic button. His hand is shot before it reaches the panel. A third officer attempts to flee through a rear exit. The door is locked. He pounds on it. Bullets impact the frame around his head. He stops pounding. At 12:05, the room is secured. 40 officers on the ground. Hands visible. No sudden movements. The target list is checked. 3 specific names. The Nuclear Program Director, the Deputy Commander of IRGC Aerospace Forces, the Chief of Centrifuge Operations. All 3 are confirmed present. All 3 are confirmed alive. The Nuclear Program Director is an older man. Gray hair, glasses. He's wearing a military uniform that doesn't fit properly. He's not a fighter. He's a scientist, a builder, a man who spent 30 years creating Iran's nuclear infrastructure. Now he's on his knees with a hood over his head. His hands are shaking. The deputy commander is different, younger, fit, angry. He struggles against the restraints. He shouts in Farsi. The Delta operator restraining him doesn't understand the words, but he understands the tone. The deputy commander is threatening, promising revenge, promising that Iran will never forget this night. The operator tightens the restraints. The deputy commander stops shouting. The chief of centrifuge operations is silent. He's staring at the floor. He knows what this means. He knows that without him, the centrifuges cannot run at full capacity. He knows that his knowledge is now American property. His face is pale. His breathing is shallow. He's not thinking about revenge. He's thinking about what happens next. At 12:06, the team prepares for extraction. The 3 prisoners are hooded and bound. The remaining 37 officers are left on the floor. Not killed, not harmed, just neutralized. The message is clear. We could have killed every person in this room. We chose not to. Remember that. The extraction plan was always the riskiest part. Getting into an underground bunker is difficult. Getting out with 3 high-value targets is something else entirely. The elevator is still the only exit, and the alarms have been screaming for 6 minutes. Reinforcements from the surface are already approaching the facility. Hence, the Delta team has maybe 8 minutes before the bunker is surrounded. At 12:07, the team moves the prisoners toward the elevator. The nuclear program director walks slowly. He's old. He's scared. The Delta operator behind him pushes him forward, not hard, just enough to keep the pace. The deputy commander walks quickly, too quickly. He's looking for an opportunity, an escape, a weapon, anything. The operator beside him watches every movement. The chief of centrifuge operations is between them, silent, compliant, broken. He's already accepted his fate. He's already thinking about what he'll say during interrogation. He's already calculating how much information he can trade for better treatment. He's not a soldier. He's an opportunist. And opportunists always talk. At 12:08, the team reaches the elevator. The prisoners are loaded inside. Yes, the team follows. The doors close. The ascent begins. 47 seconds of waiting. 47 seconds of listening to the gunfire above ground. The surface security team is engaging reinforcements. Multiple hostiles approaching from the main road. Heavy weapons, vehicles. The kind of response that usually comes from a military base, not a fake agricultural facility. At 12:09, the elevator passes the 20-foot mark. The team can hear the surface battle now. Gunfire, explosions, the distinctive sound of an M240 machine gun cycling rounds. The surface team is outnumbered, outgunned, but they're holding. They have to hold. If the perimeter breaks, the extraction helicopter can't land. If the helicopter can't land, the prisoners don't leave. If the prisoners don't leave, the mission fails. At 12:10, the elevator passes the 40-foot mark. The team prepares to exit. Weapons up, prisoners secured. The elevator slows. The doors open. The warehouse is now a combat zone. Gunfire from 3 directions. The surface team has taken cover behind storage containers. 2 of them are wounded, both still fighting. The team lead assesses the situation. The main road is compromised. At least 15 enemy fighters are advancing from the east. A technical vehicle with a heavy machine gun is providing suppressive fire from the west. The extraction helicopter is 2 minutes out. 2 minutes of holding a perimeter against an enemy that now knows exactly what was taken from them. At 12:11, the team moves the prisoners toward the western exit. It's the closest landing zone, but it's also the most exposed. The technical vehicle is still firing. Its rounds are impacting the warehouse wall. Concrete dust fills the air. The prisoners cough. The deputy commander sees an opportunity. He twists. He kicks. He nearly breaks free. The Delta operator behind him slams him against the wall. The deputy commander goes limp. Not unconscious, just stunned. The team reaches the western exit at 12:12. The helicopter is visible now, approaching fast. Its running lights are off. It's flying dark. The pilot is using night vision. The miniguns are already spinning. The sound is unmistakable. 3,000 rounds per minute waiting to be unleashed. The technical vehicle sees the helicopter. The gunner swings his weapon toward the sky. He fires. Tracers arc upward. The helicopter doesn't flinch. The miniguns open fire. The sound is deafening. A river of fire pours from the aircraft. And as the technical vehicle explodes, the gunner is vaporized. The driver tries to reverse. The second burst catches the engine block. The vehicle stops moving. Then it burns. At 12:13, the helicopter lands. The rotor wash blows dust and debris across the landing zone. The team moves the prisoners aboard. The nuclear program director needs help climbing the steps. A Delta operator lifts him. The deputy commander resists. He's pushed hard. He falls into the cabin. The chief walks aboard on his own, silent, compliant, accepting. The Delta team climbs aboard last. The helicopter lifts off as small arms fire strikes the fuselage. No critical damage. The pilot banks hard to the south. Below, the facility burns, not from the raid, from the prisoners. Before they were captured, the nuclear program director triggered a self-destruct sequence. Beyond the centrifuges are melting. The control room is on fire. The bunker that took 3 years to build is being destroyed by the very people who built it. At 12:15, the helicopter crosses the first ridge. The facility disappears behind the terrain. The gunfire stops. The alarms are silent now. There's nothing left but the sound of the rotors and the breathing of exhausted men. The prisoners sit in silence. The deputy commander stares at the floor. The nuclear program director closes his eyes. The chief of centrifuge operations looks out the window at the darkness below. None of them speak. None of them move. They know what's coming. At 12:17, the helicopter crosses into Iraqi airspace. The Iranian military stops pursuit at the border. They know what happens if they cross. They've seen the response before. They don't want to see it again. Yet the pilot reduces speed. The tension in the cabin eases. Not completely, but enough. At 12:20, the helicopter lands at a forward operating base. The prisoners are transferred to a waiting aircraft. The Delta team walks inside the debriefing room. Someone hands them water. Someone else hands them new ammunition. The mission is over. The next one is already being planned. Here is what happened in 33 minutes. 3 senior Iranian nuclear officials captured. 40 senior IRGC officers neutralized. 1 underground enrichment facility rendered completely inoperable. 18 enemy combatants confirmed eliminated. 4 Delta operators wounded, none critically. All will return to duty. All are already asking when the next mission is. The Iranian government will deny this ever happened. They will claim the facility never existed. They will produce photographs of an empty warehouse and call it proof. But the men who ran their nuclear program are currently in U.S. custody, and the centrifuges that were spinning enriched uranium are now scrap metal scattered across a burning bunker. The nuclear program director is talking already. He started talking before the aircraft left Iraqi airspace. He's providing names, locations, dates. The deputy commander is silent. He will remain silent for weeks, but everyone breaks eventually. Everyone talks. The chief of centrifuge operations is providing technical data. Detailed information about enrichment levels, centrifuge types, production schedules, everything the U.S. intelligence community has been trying to learn for years. At 12:22, the debriefing ends. The Delta team walks to the medical bay. Wounds are treated. Statements are taken. Someone asks the team lead how he feels. He doesn't answer. He just looks at the wall. He's already thinking about the next target, the next bunker, the next mission. This is not a warning. This is not a negotiation. This is what happens when the United States decides that Your most sensitive asset is no longer yours to keep. 33 minutes. 3 prisoners. 1 bunker turned to ash. 40 senior officers left on their knees, and a message delivered at the speed of a helicopter rotor. The fire at the agricultural facility burns for 3 more days. Iranian firefighters cannot reach the lower levels. The heat is too intense. The radiation levels are too high. By the time the fire stops, there is nothing left to investigate. No evidence. No proof. It's just a hole in the ground and a story that the Iranian government will spend decades trying to explain. But the men who know the truth aren't talking to the Iranian
designed
government
to activate
anymore.
automatically
They're
the
talking to
moment Karg
Americans.
Island's primary
They're sitting
command
in a
node
secure
went dark.
facility somewhere in the desert. They're answering questions. They're providing intelligence. They're doing exactly what Delta Force knew they would do from the very beginning. Because that's how this works. You don't just destroy the bunker. You don't just capture the leadership. You turn the leadership into assets. You make them work for you. You make them betray everything they spent their lives building. And by the time they realize what happened, it's already too late. The deputy commander will hold out for 11 days. Then he'll break. He'll provide operational details, military plans, deployment schedules. The nuclear program director will provide scientific data, research findings, technical specifications. The chief of centrifuge operations will provide manufacturing information, supply chains, component sources. Together, they will give the United States everything needed to dismantle Iran's nuclear program completely. Not through bombs, not through raids, through intelligence, through cooperation, through the slow, methodical destruction of every secret Iran has ever tried to keep.
The 24th MEU's amphibious offload
At
suspended
1:15
for
a.m.,
14 hours.
the Delta team finally sleeps. They sleep for 4 hours. Then they wake up. Then they train. Then they wait for the next call, the next mission, the next bunker. Because there's always another bunker, always another target, always another night. This is what they do. This is what they're for. And somewhere in Iran, President Revolutionary Guard commander is looking at the smoking hole where his most important facility used to be. He's wondering how this happened. He's wondering who betrayed him. He's wondering if he's next. He is. They all are.